I call this fractalizing the cube and taking the fractal central ghost numbers and equivalence and constructing a magic ghost number cube. This is the beginnings of a magic ghost number cube. It has all the primary numbers around it, 6 of them. You can't have any more or less than 6 because they represent the 6 faces of a cube in space. And I always color them blue. And when you add the primary numbers together, they produce the central ghost number 21. In this case, this is an addition cube that I work best in. In multiplication, you'd multiply all those numbers together to get a significantly higher central ghost number. But for right now, in addition form, you add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 together to get the central ghost number 21 that I always color red. And this is cut in 8 times. And it doesn't have a natural central cube. It's 8 of them spaced out. So I just put the ghost number 21 in the middle of them all. I call it a 2 by 2 by 2 primitive fractal cube because it only produces the primitives. And the primitives are well, let me see here. First, I'll tell you about fractalizing a cube. Okay, you have the ghost number, the primary numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. To fractalize a cube, in this sense, you give a value of, say, 1 to each of the faces of these miniature central ghost number cubes. It's facing it. You do the same with 2. You give each one the value 2 of those faces facing it of these cubes. 3, you give the value 3 to each one facing 3. And these faces for the 4 primary number. These faces 5. And down here these faces 6 for the 6 primary number. So that's fractalizing a cube on a 2 by 2 by 2 primitive fractal cube. And what they produce in red, these are the central ghost numbers. When you add the numbers that contribute to that central ghost number cube, for each of them, they add 3, 2, and 1 is 6. 2, 1, and 6 is 9. 2, 3, and 4 is 9. 2, 4, and 6 is 12. 1, 3, 2, and 5. Or not 1, 3, and 5, I'm sorry, is 9. 1, 5, and 6 is 12. 3, 4, and 5 is 12. And 4, 5, and 6 is 15. So these only give the primitive of the inner ghost numbers. Now I'll show you what that means in a second. But moving on to a 3 by 3 by 3 rank 1 fractal cube. This gives the whole ghost number, magic ghost number cube, because it introduces not just the primitives that come directly from the primary numbers, because 6 right here is 3, 2, and 1 added together, primary numbers. They're the primitives of the primary, that set of primary numbers 1, 2, and 3, and so on around the cube. But they also introduce the secondary ghost numbers, or the secondary numbers. There's primary numbers, and the secondary numbers come off to the side, and they add together. 1 and 2 over here add to give 3 at that corner. That's the secondary number. The ones along the edges are the secondary numbers. 4 comes from 1 and 3. 6 comes from 1 and 5. 5 and 4 is 9. 9 and 3 is 12 on both sides. I'll show you that in a second. 6 and 6 is also 12 on both sides. 5 and 11 is 16 on both sides. 8 and 8 is 16 on both sides. And 4 and 10 is 14 on both sides. And same as 7 and 7 is 14 on both sides. Now I'll show you what I mean by all that. This is a primitive. The primitives come directly from the primary numbers. The primitives are colored purple because that's the same color as the inner primary number, the inner ghost numbers. And the primary numbers are blue. 15 comes from 6, 4, and 5. 9 comes from 3, 4, and 2. 12 comes from 3, 4, and 5. So you get where I'm going at. Wait. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's right. These are secondary numbers. Also come directly from the primary numbers. The secondary numbers are in orange. Those are the ones at the corners that were in red. I colored them orange now because they're no longer central ghost numbers, but they're part of a primitive cube that precedes the magic ghost number cube that's filled out. The secondary numbers are orange, and they come directly from the primary numbers. It completes the inner cube space, the primitive form of a full magic ghost number cube. And the primitives are added 3 times to give the inner ghost numbers. The inner ghost numbers, not the central ghost number, the inner ghost numbers. 18, 27, 27, 36, 27, 36, 36, and 45. They're colored the same color as the primitives because the primitives are the ones that you add 3 times to give these inner ghost numbers. Just like the central ghost number cube or ghost number is adds 3 times to give the outer ghost number. 21 added 3 times is 63. And this is a primitive cube that's based on this fractalization of rank 1. It's not just a primitive. Don't just give us the primitives, it also gives the secondaries. It completes the inner space, the inner cube. And that's why I call it a rank 1. And all these numbers can be found right here, which can be found in here when you add the primitives to themselves 3 times. 6 becomes 18, 15 becomes 36 or 45, and so on. So that's how you. This is an equivalence in constructing a magic ghost number cube compared to the traditional way. Well, thanks a lot.